Welcome to another Market Talk with Liz Moore. I am Andy, and in the studio, of course, Liz Moore from Liz Moore and Associates. Liz, welcome back. Always a pleasure talking to you. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Andy. I am doing great and happy to be here.
Wonderful. Well, we have a special guest as well. It's not just you this time.
We do.
You brought a friend along. Who'd you bring?
I did. Our guest today is Keith Freeland with Movement Mortgage. He is one of our favorite local mortgage lenders. And one of the things that my team really appreciates about Keith is that he is a real problem solver. So in today's market, we definitely need that.
Absolutely. Well, welcome, Keith, to the Tide Studio. It's nice to meet you. Sounds like Liz is a real big fan. So tell our audience about what you do.
Well, it's great to be here. It's always great to be with Liz as well. So I'm a mortgage banker here in Williamsburg, and what we do is we try to help people buy houses and with financing for their house.
So Liz and Keith, what's going on with the local real estate market at the moment?
The market has definitely slowed down this year. One of our biggest challenges right now is the lack of inventory. Honestly, we just don't have enough houses to sell.
And so why is that?
Well, there are a number of reasons. One of the biggest reasons, I believe, is that 23% of homeowners are living in a home that's actually completely paid for. They have no mortgage. And then there's another 61% who are living in a home where the mortgage interest rate is less than 4%. So that combined, almost 85% of homeowners isn't really crazy about the idea of selling their home and moving up and leaving that low interest rate or paid for house for a rate that's maybe in the low sevens.
Well, that all makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, that seems like if you're situated in a home that you love and you have a good interest rate, why move?
Well, but wait, there's some statistics that I just wanted to share and break down for you. So if you think about what's going on in the world today, the personal savings rate is at the lowest level since prior to 2018. And you take that plus credit card debt is close to $1 trillion for the first time. So there's a couple of things that are kind of not balanced. And then in addition to that, if you think about what's going on in October, student loan payments are close to $1.8 trillion, and payments are going to have to start being made come October 1st. So there's a lot of things that are going on with the world that makes it interesting. And let me give you a couple other things that I think are really important to understand. If you think about home ownership today, there's about 124 million households in the United States. 82 million people own. But here's the staggering statistic. Around 60 million people have less than $10,000 in savings and retirement savings.
Wow.
And that's kind of a big number. Now, luckily, these people did the right thing. They went out and they purchased a home over the last several years, and they have built up a tremendous amount of equity. And that's the really important aspect. So we have the largest amount of equity ever. People that own a home can live better because the wealth they've created by taking that step and buying a home. They just need to know how to use it to their advantage. And that's where talking with somebody from Liz Moore and Associates is such an important aspect, because it is one of the largest assets that people have. Just like any asset increases in value, you have the option to simply sell it. The same goes with housing. If your house goes up, it is okay to take a profit on a house.
Keith, you were sharing an example with me when you were in the office last week, and I would love for you to share that with Andy's audience, because it was fascinating to me how you were able to help that woman.
Yeah, I think that the more people that I talk to that currently own a house, and let me just share an example. So we had a first-time home buyer buy a house back in 2018 for $225,000. And I just want people to know that you could still buy a house with no money down. That's still an option in the world today. This person bought their house with a grant program that we have available, and now it is worth $370,000.
Wow.
Think about that. Just because they purchased a house, it makes a significant difference. When I talked to the client, they were working 2 jobs. They have significant amount of debt that's out there. This particular client can actually sell their house, pay off all of their debt, and still walk away with $92,000.
Pretty good.
It's pretty great. And I think people are so concerned that they have a low interest rate, they don't really look at the advantages of having a house and how they can utilize it to live better.
So actually paying off all of that student loan debt, paying off credit card debt, they were lowering their payments and rather than trading up into a higher payment. And I think everybody's situation is different, but that's a good example of how somebody like Keith can help by sitting down and looking at the whole picture.
I mean, that seems like something definitely to consider. Keith, how can people get in touch with you?
So all they have to do is they can call me. I can be reached at area code 540-588-2336, or my office is right here in Williamsburg. Happy to set up an appointment and sit down with somebody to go over everything. Or just simply Google me, Keith Freeland Movement Mortgage.
And can I get you to give that phone number one more time?
Yes, it's area code 540-588-2336.
Awesome. Well, Keith, Liz, a lot of good stuff to consider here. Another Market Talk with Liz Moore. I want to thank you both for coming in. Liz, always a pleasure talking to you. And Keith, it was a pleasure having you in the studio for the first time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy.